Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with allthingsbbq.com, and this is smoked pumpkin butter. Today I want to share with you guys a very simple, very flavorful condiment that's great from fall into winter and around the holidays. Lots of holiday spices involved. It's smoked pumpkin butter. Of course we're going to smoke it. Let's get right into it. We're starting off with a pie pumpkin. This one's about 2.5 pounds, which should be plenty. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that stem. We don't need that. And then come right down the center. I'm gonna scoop out all of the seeds and the stringy stuff. I've got a bunch of these saved back already that we're gonna smoke some other time. So save them if you like them. If not, you can always throw them away. This one's got a little gnarly spot in it, and we don't really want to eat that, so we'll just cut it right out of there. Like carving a pumpkin. No problem. So we're gonna do some smoke roasting today. We wanna tenderize all this flesh on the inside so when it gets super soft, we can peel the outside. The only thing that we need to do before we get it on the grill is just hit it with a little bit of olive oil. And a tablespoon or so of olive oil should cover both sides. We're gonna be cooking our pumpkins today on the YS640. We're running pecan pellets at 350 degrees, so a little bit higher than normal smoking temperatures, really in that roasting range. But we've got a tool to help us add some smoke flavor to our pumpkins today, the amazing tube smoker that will also fill up with pecan pellets. So we'll just fill up the tube here, straight out of the hopper, and we can light the end with a torch. And once you got a flame going, just go ahead and let it burn for about 30 seconds before you blow it out to make sure that those pellets stay lit. So we'll go top shelf here so the smoke washes right over our pumpkins as it exits the grill. Let's let them smoke. Well, our pumpkins have been smoking for about an hour and a half now. They're getting nice and tender. I'm gonna pull this off and show you guys. You can see just how much that softened up. And then if you take a fork, should be very little resistance when pierced. So these are ready to come off. We're ready to harvest that flesh. Now you can handle these right away if you glove up with some cottons and some nitriles. It's pretty easy to do fresh off the grill. We're simply just going to peel this skin back and get rid of all of the skin from the outside. And this flesh here is what we're gonna use to make our pumpkin butter. All right, so as I finish peeling this, I'm just gonna set it aside and get the food processor set up. So we've got our pumpkin, gonna go into the food processor. Smells nice and smoky. We're gonna add to that 1/2 cup of apple cider, a 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and then our spices, starting with a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and then a pinch of cardamom and clove. We also want just a touch of salt to make everything come alive, so we're gonna use the Whiskey Barrel smoked salt from Noble Salt Works. And speaking of whiskey, we're gonna come in with about 1 tablespoon of Maker's Mark bourbon. And this will kind of give you that vanilla aspect that you could also use a vanilla extract, but all of the whiskey is going to cook out. And then we just want to blitz this down until it's nice and smooth. Should have very little chunks or texture by the time we're done. All right, it's looking pretty good. I'm just gonna scrape down the sides and let it go just a touch longer to make sure we get all of that incorporated. All right, that's it. Man, it smells so good. You can see the consistency here. It's fairly thick, but we're gonna thicken it up even more by cooking it down in the skillet. So we've got the 12-inch Lodge over medium heat on the Heston Q. And we're just gonna melt down our butter. We've got 2 tablespoons of butter here. You wanna melt it and actually just let it brown slightly as well to really add some extra depth of flavor. And that's really what we're looking to do as we cook down this pumpkin butter. Obviously the pumpkin's already cooked, but we've added a lot of other ingredients, especially the sugars, which we can kind of let caramelize as this cooks down. And you'll see that if you take note of the color of the pumpkin now, and then what it's gonna look like here in about 15 minutes, it'll be darker and more caramelized, which adds a ton of flavor. So you can see we've got some slight browning in the foam there, but really you just wanna use your nose. When it gets really nutty, that toasted nutty smell, that's when the brown butter is right where it's supposed to be. It's not scorched, but it's got that little extra caramelization. We're gonna add to that all of our pumpkin butter here. And then let's just stir it around. Start to incorporate that brown butter. Smells incredible. All right, to get this spread out, you should see some little pockets of bubbling going on. We don't want to go too hard and scorch anything, so we're going to go down to low heat now. And then we're just going to stir this occasionally and let it cook down for about 10 to 15 minutes. But one of the things that will really help our caramelization along is a little bit extra sugar. Of course, we've already got the sugar from the maple syrup and the brown sugar, but this is a little bit more unique. This is a maple turbinado smoked sugar. So we're gonna add a little bit of smoke, a little bit more maple, and this has got a different texture to it. It won't just dissolve quite so easily in the blender or in the food processor, but once you get it into the skillet, it can melt right down and help with that browning process. It's hard to go really too sweet with a pumpkin butter, so another tablespoon or so of turbinado sugar isn't going to do any harm. It'll certainly do more good. Well, you can see the depth and color that we've achieved here, a much darker shade now, kind of a burnt orange color. And it's really thickened up. I mean, this stuff will just stand up on its own. Let's have a little taste. Man, it's like pumpkin pie intensified. So much flavor. This is perfect for spreading on toast. You can serve it with crackers. You can put it on your pancakes. Put it on your ice cream. I mean, pretty much anything you can think of, but this is definitely one of those things where, like, breakfast, any day of the week. But it's perfect for those holiday parties. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out allthingsbbq.com for all the products featured in today's video. If you enjoyed the recipe, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to allthingsbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.